Right, so Seal was going to tell us basically everything we already know from chapters 1 and 2. From routes 1 and 2. So, get ready for some motherfucking exposition, baby. Alright.
Well then, I promise to tell you what I know. What do you want to hear, Tohno-kun?
What? Well, that's obvious. I want to know everything about my dreams. Why do I have dreams about killing people? Who exactly are you? There's a lot I don't understand.
Ah, I see. Well, let's start with the dreams you have, Tohno-kun. To put it simply, I don't think the dream you're seeing is your dream. Tohno-kun, you say you dream of killing, but isn't the dream more like watching someone killing someone else?
Well, yeah. Do you think I would kill people in my dreams if I could control myself?
See, that's what I mean. When you sleep, you go into the killer's mind. Well, not exactly going into, but more like being taken into. So even though your viewpoint was that of the killer, didn't you feel as though you were watching things from afar?
That's precisely right. Even though I've had dreams about killing for a while now, they've all felt as if I were watching a scene. But why is my mind and this killer's mind merging? There must be some reason, right?
Yes, there's a very clear reason. But let us leave that aside for a moment. First, we have to discuss what you're calling the killer. Certainly there is a killer, but its characteristics are more like a vampire's.
Well, that's fair enough. Certainly you could call someone like that a vampire. I remember the scene in my dream. That guy, while enjoying the killing, he ate their flesh and blood.
Yes. I am the person who came to this town to deal with that vampire. Although I can't tell you the details, the world has various defense mechanisms. Just like there are police to deal with those who break the law, there are also organizations which deal with heretics who are inhuman. Think of me like a member of that kind of organization.
Deal with vampires?
Yes. That which sucks the blood of that which sucks the blood of the living to maintain its own flesh. A stopped life which does so in order to have eternal life. It is my role to wipe out such heretics. That's the reason I was fighting the vampire every night in your dreams.
There's nothing to say. To be honest, I don't understand the world she's talking about at all. So you fought the vampire several times already?
Twice now. The first time it escaped. And the second time, our encounter was rather painful.
Right? So you've seen his face, haven't you? So didn't you know immediately I wasn't the vampire?
No. Unfortunately, I couldn't be certain. Since some vampires can change their bodies freely, you cannot rely on appearance to identify them.
Really? That's a problem then.
But now it's clear. So we've beaten around the bush, but this vampire...
Oh, okay. That's Shiki talking? Okay. But now it's clear. So we've beaten around the bush, but this vampire's the serial killer then?
Yes. The dead bodies reported as victims of the serial killer are merely leftover food. Usually the flesh is consumed completely, or the blood is drained and they become vampires too, so there shouldn't be any bodies left.
Well, hold on. If people who get their blood sucked turn into vampires, wouldn't they start multiplying?
No. There's a limit to those who are killed by having their blood sucked, yet remain without dying. Most humans cannot separate the soul from the body, so the soul dies with the death of the body. Only perhaps 1 in 100 people can remain without dying. Like Yumizuka Satsuki did.
What? Senpai! You knew about Yumizuka?
No. By the time I got there, you had already destroyed her. I'm sorry. Back then, even though I knew you were in pain, I couldn't help you.
No, it's alright. I want to think that what happened with Yumizuka was for the best. But I see now. Yumizuka wasn't a vampire from the beginning. Oh, I get it. Wasn't a vampire from the beginning. She was attacked by that vampire, and that was the result.
Yes, that's true. But I don't think there are others like Yumizuka-san. It takes many years before a vampire can function as a vampire. For her to be able to function immediately, Yumizuka Satsuki must have had amazing spiritual conception.
Spiritual conception? What's that?
A functional extent of the brain determined when a person is an embryo, or so it's said. Like how you use your ability, it's employing a section of the brain most people never use. It's the same for Yumizuka Satsuki. She was naturally suitable, so instead of being under control of her parent vampire, she became a vampire that could act independently.
I don't understand Senpai's explanation, but one thing occurs to me. Senpai, you mentioned my abilities, so you know about my eyes?
Eyes? No, I don't know what kind of eyes you have, Tohno-kun, but I know you have a unique ability. Tohno-kun's blood is special. Not a trained ability like mine, but something you're born with. Those kinds of things are called supernatural powers. Most people have only one channel open in their minds, but you have another channel open that we can't see, right?
Special blood? You mean the blood of the Tohno house?
Yes, the Tohno bloodline is ancient. But looking at the history of the Tohno family, one can see the abilities of its members are varied, such as those who can receive divine inspiration, those unable to maintain their shape as humans and become killers, or those who never awaken their power. As time passed, this blood is thinned, and probably most of these abilities do not occur anymore.
I'm aghast. If what Senpai says is true, then not just me, but Akiha will also have something broken, like my eyes.
Shall I continue? Tohno-kun, you asked a while ago. Why are your senses merging with those of a vampire?
Yes, I did.
I think that's also related to your abilities. Your brain has a larger channel than other people's. Because of that, when you sleep and your sense of self dims, your mind is drawn towards a vampire, which has an easily connectable brain with you.
Senpai, what do you mean an easily connectable brain? You can't mean they're made similarly, right?
No, that's precisely what I mean. Have you ever heard of twins sharing experiences?
Twins sharing experiences?
For instance, if the elder brother is injured, the younger brother who is miles away feels the same pain. I think that your dreams are similar to this. Fundamentally, identical twins are two humans, Fundamentally, identical twins are two humans' flesh born from the same genes. Their body parts made from the same instructions, so it isn't impossible for pain felt by one brain to be received by the other. The brain is an organ that manages reception and transmission. Since every person's brain is made from a different blueprint, we have to communicate our feelings through language. But if two brains are precisely the same, thought will be transmitted without the need for language. To put it in the previous terms, since the brain's channel is on the same frequency, the electric signal is received. Since your brain is superior to others, you connect to the bodies close to you.
It can't be. I don't have any twin.
I know, but in your case, it doesn't need to be a twin. It's not like you're merging with them, but more like you have similar brains. Since your brain has many channels, there's no need for you to be identical twins. Simply the same roots, a similar body. That's probably all that's needed for you to be drawn in. Probably a sibling with the same parents. Well, I suppose an exception could be made in the case of organ transplants. The flesh might pull your mind in that case.
Interesting. It could happen with anyone connected by blood. That can't be. Akiha is the only blood relative I have left now. Only Akiha. Is there no one but Akiha? It can't be. That's wrong. Senpai doesn't answer. In my mind, I see Akiha's figure, drinking Kohaku-san's blood. That can't be! I knew it. It wasn't a dream. I was the one who killed those people and drank their blood. Because if not me, then... Altogether, it makes sense.
I suspected you at first, but after meeting you, I decided you weren't it. But I might have just been fooling myself. So, tonight was a gamble for me. If you had killed me without hesitation, I would have known you were a vampire. But you weren't after all.
No, that was just...
Tohno-kun? All those in the Tohno family have something inhuman mixed with their blood. Though some are completely harmless, there are usually only one of these in each generation. In the past, there were many members of the Tohno family that drank blood. But you do not need to drink the blood of others or have an urge to. So...
How could you know that, Senpai?
Tohno-kun, the Tohno house holds a possibility of giving birth to a vampire. If you're not it, then...
No. I shake my head desperately. I won't accept Senpai's words. I can't accept them. But I remember. In the detached building, the face of Tohno Akiha drinking Kohaku-san's blood. It's not Akiha. The one with the strange power is me.
You may be right. Just by looking, Akiha-san does not seem to have her power awakened. She's certainly contaminated with it, but only to a level that she can still turn back.
No, it's not Akiha. I'm the one who has these troubles. Akiha waited for me for many years, and just today, she said goodbye to me properly.
I only hunt vampires. Whoever it is, I cannot overlook them.
Unable to speak, I only bite my lip. I don't understand. If Akiha is such a thing, what should I do? Should I pretend not to realize? Or should I fight Senpai to defend Akiha? It's useless. No matter how much I think, I can't find any answers.
I understand. Akiha-san is very important to you. Probably more important than yourself.
Of course. A little sister's always important to her brother.
We might end up fighting each other.
There's nothing to say. I'm completely defeated. Senpai clearly states things I don't want to say. We reach the school gates. Senpai seems to have reached a conclusion, as she doesn't say anything.
I won't ask what you'll do now. We'll part here.
Her eyes emotionless, Senpai extends a hand. Saying nothing, I take her hand. For only a brief moment, Senpai and I exchange a hollow handshake. With just a goodbye, Senpai departs. I return to the mansion where Akiha awaits. I know from the conversation with Senpai that what I see are just dreams, but the fundamental problem is still unsolved. The vampire. The truth. That thing which kills people every night. If it's really Akiha, what can I do? What should I do? I don't know. Regretfully, all I can do is bite my lip. Chapter 10, Sweltering Night. Okay. But we know it's not Akiha. Because the serial killer is always Roa. So, like, whatever. It was years and years ago. I came here after having shut myself up in my room for so long. Probably after I had become friends with one of the servant girls, and was coming out to play at last. I'm sorry, Nissan. In the empty courtyard, Akiha suddenly started to cry. Even when I asked what she was apologizing for, she just kept apologizing. Because we stole everything from you, Nissan. The reason why Akiha is crying is something that has already ended for me in the past. It would be a lie to say I didn't hold a grudge. But a 6-year-old girl can't feel responsible for that. And it can't be something she would apologize so desperately for. In the first place, she didn't do anything wrong. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Nissan. Why didn't I notice? From the very first time I met Akiha, she was always apologizing to me. In this big mansion, the only one who cried for me. Thank you. But that's enough. Smiling, I stroked Akiha's head. Akiha looked up at me, bewildered. Then, for the first time, I felt strongly. You don't have to cry, Akiha. From now on, we are brother and sister. I remember Akiha's face laughing happily. I made a promise then. We would be a real family. Since I was the elder brother, I would protect Akiha, whatever happened. Such thoughts. I had a time where I held on to those thoughts, as if I were dreaming. I awake to the morning light. Knowing for sure that I'm not the killer, I had no dreams of murder last night. But there was something. I feel like I had a nostalgic dream. When Akiha and I were still young, a dream from before we knew what we were to each other. Excuse me. It is time to get up, Shiki-sama. Just a second. Yeah. Morning, Hisui. You're early again this morning. Hisui bows and enters. As always, she places down a fresh school uniform and bids me good morning. Shiki-sama, what time did you return last night? Akiha-sama was waiting in the sitting room. Yeah, I was tired yesterday. I knew Akiha was waiting in the sitting room, but I went straight to my room. Answering, I feel depressed from self-loathing. Last night, after parting from Seal Senpai, I returned to the mansion and went straight to my room to escape Akiha. Although I denied it to Senpai, I was afraid to ask Akiha. I can't just ask Akiha, "Are you a vampire?" if the answer was the worst possible. I wouldn't know what to do. Thinking about that sort of thing, I can't face her, and I can't talk to her. Hisui, is Akiha already in the sitting room? Yes. She's been waiting for you for some time. I see. That's bad. Right now, I have no confidence that I can talk with her as I usually do. I'm not sure I can even manage a casual greeting. Hisui, sorry, but could you stay with me today? Until I leave. I'd like you by my side. Although her expression does not change, Hisui looks at me in shock. I understand. Then I shall accompany you until you leave, Shiki-sama. Bowing very deeply, Hisui grants my request. In the sitting room, Kohaku-san is drinking tea with Akiha. Morning, both of you. Somehow I greet them naturally. Maybe she's mad at me for going straight to my room. Akiha glances only briefly at me, saying nothing. Good morning, Shiki-san. It's unusual to see you together with Hisui-chan. Yeah. I don't feel great today, so I asked her to escort me. It'd be dangerous if I felt giddy on the stairs. I see. Hisui-chan, you're really relied on. Of course, Hisui stands beside me silently.
Well, I'll go and prepare breakfast. Please wait with Akiha-sama.
Kohaku goes into the kitchen. Akiha says nothing. Feeling an unpleasant atmosphere, I sit down on the sofa. An uneasy silence rules the sitting room.
Nissan?
What is it, Akiha?
You said you were not feeling well. Are you all right?
No, it's nothing major. You don't need to worry about it.
Really? Well, then that's good, but...
Akiha looks away uneasily. There's something strange about Akiha's attitude. It's obvious she cares about last night, but she's different from usual. Usually she would at least say, "Why didn't you tell me when you came home?" Instead, she looks incredibly nervous.
Akiha? Nissan?
The two of us speak simultaneously.
Yes. What is it, Nissan?
I hate that they used this sprite casually, because this is such a fucking creepy sprite, and we don't see this sprite until the third route. And the first time we see it, she's walking around the mansion like a zombie. So this really should have been reserved for those specific instances. But it's kind of used for like when she's like confused, I guess. And I just don't think it fits. This is a creepy fucking sprite, especially in the context it was introduced into.
No, what were you gonna say?
Nothing. I was just calling your name. I get even more confused.
Akiha-sama, Shiki-san, breakfast is ready.
Kohaku-san's voice comes from the dining room.
Well, shall we go, Akiha? Yes. Let's go, Nissan.
Somehow, Akiha seems awfully meek this morning. And now, I hate myself even more. Before, I was thinking about how difficult it would be to see Akiha. Yet I'm thinking if she's this subdued, I want to talk with her more.
Well then, Shiki-sama, Akiha-sama, have a good day.
Following my instructions precisely, Hisui follows us to the main gates. Since today's Saturday, I'll be back a little oh, I'm sorry, this is Shiki talking. Excuse me. Since today's Saturday, I'll be back a little early, but you don't need to wait out here. Since I may go play for a bit, please wait in the mansion. Affirming her consent, Hisui bows and we leave the gates of the mansion behind. Now, the problem is the way from here to school. Akiha follows silently next to me. Although part of me is glad of the silence, it still feels uncomfortable. We arrive at school. It's just past 7:30. Only a small number of students arrive at this time. Akiha is still silent. It would be really awkward if we didn't exchange a word all morning.
Hey, Akiha. Yes, what is it, Nissan?
What is it? You seem really odd this morning. You're not even angry about last night, and you seem really distant.
Does it seem that way?
Yeah, it does. Are you still feeling bad? If so, you should be resting. Suddenly I notice. Akiha took the day off school. Akiha took the day off school yesterday. Yesterday, Seal Senpai had bandages on her arm, and said she had a painful experience.
Nissan, you don't really look well either.
No, that's... I shake my head to throw off the unpleasant image. There's something wrong. Since Akiha suffers from the same frailties as I do, there's something strange about her taking the day off school. I have to trust Akiha, so I can't let my imagination run away with me like that. That's gotta be Shiki talking, right?
I'm fine. More importantly, what's wrong? Somehow, you seem really feminine this morning. Not like yourself at all. You just said something really terrible, Nissan. Yes, that's a little more like it. I'll feel uneasy if you're not like this, Akiha. Well, being calm isn't a bad thing every once in a while. Oh. Am I always so rough? No. You are gentle. You're polite and very proper. That's strange in that case. Why? Why don't I think of her as being calm all the time? Well, it's okay. If you say there's nothing wrong with you, I won't ask anymore. Come on, let's go inside. Looking like she wants to say something more, Akiha follows me into the school building. See you later. Since school finishes early today, we can have lunch at the mansion. Nissan? What is it? Do you feel bad after all? If so, I could take you to the nurse. No, I feel fine. I don't feel bad at all. But there's a reason I just feel completely lost this morning. Lost? What do you mean? Nissan, do you remember that childhood promise? Suddenly, Akiha glances up at me with flushed cheeks. Childhood promise? What's that? Jeez, of course you don't remember it. That's fine. It's nothing at all. I didn't expect you to anyway. It seems it didn't mean anything to you. With a Akiha turns away. What's this all of a sudden? When we were children, that was 8 years ago. You say promise, but there's so many promises I made to you. Even if you ask me like that, I won't be able to remember. That's true, but aren't there some things you want others to remember? Last night, I had a dream about when we were small, so I wondered if you would remember. Akiha, you think I can remember everything just because you saw a dream from your childhood? But it was nostalgic. Don't you remember? The first time you called my name and stroked my head under that tree. You said you would date me even if I was a worm. Sorry. Back then, I would cry easily, right? Everyone would try to calm me down when I cried, but you would be sad with me. So it caused me to cry more, but afterwards, I really felt like there was nothing sad anymore. From that time, Nissan? What's wrong? Do you feel ill? Akiha, that dream last night. Is it the time you were crying in the empty garden? Yes! I don't remember it very well, but it felt like that kind of dream. Something cold runs down my back. That dream. I had that dream too. Senpai said, I get pulled into the vampire's mind. Nissan? Are you sure you're all right? It's nothing. Well, I'm going this way, so bye. I part from Akiha, feeling sick. Why? Why is the result always the worst possible? Being drawn into the vampire's mind as I sleep. Last night. I didn't want to know I was dreaming the same dream as Akiha, instead of the killer's dream. There are only a few people in the classroom. I moved to my seat by the window and put down my bag. Sitting in my chair, I wait for homeroom to start. Oh, you're early, Tohno. You look pretty pale this morning. You all right? Arihiko. Honestly, you, Akiha, you all keep saying the same thing. Do I really look that bad? No, actually. You just look like you always do.
I guess you just look really down, huh? Down, huh? Certainly, I feel down. If Senpai came and said, "Wasn't it like I said?" I wouldn't be able to say anything back. Arihiko, have you seen Senpai today? Huh? Which Senpai? Which? The only Senpai we both know is Seal Senpai, right? Who's that? Shiru? There aren't any foreign students at this school. My mouth falls open in astonishment. Arihiko, you... My broken voice gets that far. But I can't get any further. What is it, Tohno? If you got something to say, then say it. I'll listen to anything except money problems. Arihiko acts like usual. Acting like usual. He doesn't remember Senpai at all. You really don't remember Senpai? That's why I'm asking. Who's this Senpai you keep talking about? I can't answer anymore. Gradually, I begin to understand the meaning of the goodbye she gave last night. Oh, old Kunifuji will be here any moment. See you later. Arihiko returns to his own desk. The teacher enters the classroom. Homeroom begins, and after that, the first period starts with physics. I'm just checking the chat real quick. Unfortunately, for those, if anybody's watching, I have to click between the chat and the full screen because my phone's dead. Actually, I think it should be alive right now. Give me just a second. Alright. Would you rather have a baby lion or a giraffe? A baby lion or an adult giraffe? Well, a baby lion will eventually turn into an adult lion and could potentially eat me, and that would not be ideal. But there is somewhat of a framework to raise a lion so that it won't eat you. Like, as long as it registers you as, like, a parental figure, it'll be attached to you. And if you train it to not use its arms, or more importantly, its paws and claws and stuff, so, like, if you only pet its face with your face, it'll only use its face to pet your face, or something along those lines. So then it won't, like, claw at you by accident, or bite you by accident, or whatever. But even with all that, it's still a risky endeavor to raise a lion. Whereas an adult giraffe, it's a herbivore, so it's probably not going to eat me. But it's rather unwieldy and difficult to, like, the problem would be where am I going to put a giraffe, right? I don't know. I feel like ultimately a giraffe is probably the least dangerous, because if I'm, like, extra negligent, I could get trampled, or somebody else could get trampled. I feel like at the end of the day, an escaped giraffe is way less scary than an escaped lion. Although both are scary, to a certain extent, I feel like an escaped giraffe is way less scary. And ultimately, the worst thing that could happen is I would go to jail for letting a giraffe escape, you know? And I feel like that's on me. Anyway, let's get back to Tsukihime. Sorry. I just observe vacantly. Senpai has really disappeared. She's not merely disappeared from before me, but she's vanished without a trace. The spell has easily faded. Looking somewhat sad, she said that. Arihiko doesn't remember her. I'm sure no one else remembers either. She was never a student here. She was just sent here in order to observe me. So when she revealed her true character to me, there was no need for her to remain here. My chest hurts. In place of proving that I was not the killer, Seal Senpai disappeared like a mirage. Lunch comes, and all classes end. Seeking to enjoy Saturday to the fullest, my classmates rush out of the classroom. Oh, what is it, Tohno? You're not going? Just staying a bit longer. I thought I'd wait a bit for someone. That'd be Akiha-chan, huh? No way. If it were Akiha, I'd go and pick her up. I'm waiting for someone who has no reason to come, so I don't know if I'll get to see her. Right. Well, later. Yeah. And don't go playing around too much at night. I'm done for if you have to tell me that. Arihiko goes, and the other students start to go as well. I'm left alone in the classroom, still waiting for Seal Senpai. Click. The hand of the clock hits 1 p.m. As the sound of practice begins to echo from the grounds, the classroom door slides open. It's Akiha. She comes over to my seat by the window. Ni-san? You're not going home? No, I'll go. I just haven't seen Senpai today. I thought if I waited here, she might come by. No, that's wrong. I just want her to come by. But she's never going to appear before me again. Is that so? Well then, I'll wait with you. Akiha sits at the desk next to me. I don't mind or anything. You really are nosy, aren't you? Yes, I'm your sister after all. Seeming a little happy, Akiha sits on the chair with a smile. Well, there's no reason to send her away, other than the fact that she might be a vampire, and I wanted to have a conversation about that with Senpai, but... Although it's unpleasant when Akiha and Senpai see each other, Senpai isn't coming anyway. I'm just wasting a day. It's afternoon. Akiha doesn't complain and merely sits next to me. Come to think of it, this is the first time I've been with Akiha for such a long time since I came back to the mansion. Without conversation, I'm more aware of Akiha than ever. When we were small, Akiha was always crying. And for 8 years, Akiha waited for me. And even now, Akiha simply accompanies me calmly. When I was told that Akiha might be a vampire, all I did was to deny it. The reasons are obvious. Akiha is my important younger sister, so I didn't want to accept it. The girl I promised to protect. The reason I returned to the Tohno mansion. My surprise when I met Akiha for the first time after 8 years, now grown beautiful. Akiha is important to me. I think I love her. But what kind of love it is, I cannot put into words clearly. We've lived as siblings for only 2 years. During that time, the feeling of wanting to protect her was stronger than the feeling of family. I don't understand. At times, I gaze on Akiha so much that I don't understand myself. It's not that she's important to me because she's my younger sister. She's just important to me. So, even if she is a vampire, Akiha, shall we go back? I don't mind, but is it all right, Ni-san? Senpai isn't here yet, is she? No. She was never going to come, so it's all right. Akiha says nothing more. Suddenly, I realize something. Arihiko and the others, even the teachers don't remember Senpai. But Akiha seems to. Akiha, what do you think of Senpai? I'm not sure what you mean by Senpai, but I think you mean Seal-san. In that case, my opinion hasn't changed. I do not want you to associate with that person. My voice dies. Akiha remembers Senpai. Everyone else has forgotten her, so why? Akiha, you... Ni-san? What is it? You've such a terrible expression right now. Why? Why do you remember Akiha? Everyone has forgotten Senpai. So why do you remember her? Akiha's expression freezes. And then, she looks away from me. Akiha, could it be you knew from the beginning who Senpai was? She doesn't answer. The silence means yes. Akiha, answer me. You knew Senpai was a vampire hunter from the beginning. Is that why you didn't like her? Vampire? Nissan? Akiha looks at me aghast. Her face doesn't seem surprised at the word vampire, but it seems she's surprised to hear it coming from me. Akiha, answer me. If you don't, I won't be able to believe you. Yes, Nissan. I knew from the beginning that that person was different. Since I knew she was hypnotizing people she saw for the first time, I didn't trust her. Senpai was hypnotizing people. Yes, that's why everyone didn't think it was odd for someone to have a name like Seal. Since I was unaffected by her, I realized there was something different about her. Akiha explains herself, but she left out an important part. If everyone was taken in by Seal Senpai's hypnosis, why was Akiha unaffected? When the hypnosis was removed, those people affected by it will forget the person called Seal. Since I was never affected in the first place, even though it had been removed, I remember her. I get it. But Akiha, why weren't you affected? Well, that's... I see. Those of the Tohno bloodline aren't normal. Because of that, Senpai's hypnosis was ineffective. Nissan, why do you... It's natural. After all, I'm not normal either. Saying that, I stand up. After a moment of astonishment, Akiha also stands up with a determined expression. The empty classroom. We gaze at each other in a classroom dyed red. I would love it if at least, because I feel like Tsukihime just has so many secrets that characters keep from each other, and the tension comes from talking to each other without revealing too much about each other. And I would love it if, like, these two, because, like, Aki has been so secretive. I would love it if it's just, like, both of them were just like, alright, all cards on the table. This is what's going on. I would love that. Let's see what happens. I heard from Senpai that all those in the Tohno family have special powers, and that among them, there are those who do not end up being able to restrain themselves and kill others. But I don't believe it. I don't want to believe it. Please tell me, Akiha. You're not a vampire, are you? Akiha doesn't answer. She merely narrows her eyes painfully. Why? I won't, Akiha. Even if it's a lie, say of course not. Say something! Why won't you answer, Akiha? I cry out, since the silence is painful. A little more silence follows. As if nothing was wrong, Akiha walks gracefully to the window. Her long red hair is transparent in the sunset. Her red hair flutters as she turns around. What the fuck? Sorry. The fucking CG is so funny. I don't know what, like, it just looks so JoJo. I don't know. I think it's just her stance is so goofy looking. Okay. Well then, I'll ask. If I was a vampire, what would you do, Nissan? Her look, like a blade, pierces my throat. That's... Akiha's gaze drills into me. We're separated. Even though she's away from me, there's a feeling of tension like she's right in front of my face. Answer me, Nissan. If I asked, if I were a blood-sucking demon, what would you do? Akiha, that's... If I were to confirm that, then there would be no need for me to hold back. Do you understand, Nissan? I could stop being obstinate and become more honest with myself, right? With terrible pressure and a glint of cruel enjoyment in her eyes, Akiha gazes up at me. I shudder as I look at her. Even though Akiha is looking up at me, her gaze is so cold that she seems to be looking down on me. What? I'm breathing in and I can't speak. Even though we're far apart, it feels like we're so close that we could kiss at any moment. Akiha's eyes are cold as those of a stranger. Akiha, you... My voice stops there. Whatever happens, I cannot finish. Just a joke, Nissan. I don't drink people's blood. With a delightful smile at my hesitant state, Akiha releases her blade-like gaze. It's just as Seal said. Certainly, members of the Tohno house have something different in their blood. However, that's something that can be told at a glance if it's awake. Even you know that, don't you, Nissan? Akiha teases with a laugh. No? Yes. So, your question is meaningless. Because I'm not what you think I am, Nissan. Well then, is that all? In that case, I'm going home. Akiha's about to leave. But... no. If I miss this chance, I feel there will be no more chances. Having come this far, I can't let her go without asking her everything. No. There's still something I want to ask. About the other child. When we were children. You're really persistent, Nissan. Didn't I tell you there was no other child? That's not true. Our old man adopted a kid 10 years ago. Akiha raises her eyebrows. It's not like her previous reaction, a hiding of guilt. It's more like anger. I see. Hisui has been troublesome. I told her to take care not to let you discover that. Akiha sighs. Akiha, there was a third child. Even I remember vaguely. Can't you tell me? Why did he die? No, that child did not die. But he was killed. By your hands, Nissan. What? I killed? Saying that, dizziness assaults me. Yes, I killed. The Alone on a Friday Night CG. The accident 8 years ago. My younger self, in that courtyard. A hot, nightmarish summer day. Akiha and the boy covered in blood. The thick clouds, and the echoing sound of the cicadas. There. I killed him. I feel dizzy. Somehow, I have the strength to keep from fainting. No! My breath comes out in gasps. I couldn't. See, Nissan? Doesn't everyone have secrets they have to keep to themselves? Akiha, you... So, you should stop thinking about such things. It's enough if you just live at the mansion as Tohno Shiki. Akiha leaves. I have no words to stop her. The classroom in the sunset. Only I am left, standing, unable to move. Night falls. Since I don't feel like returning to the mansion, I merely sit on the bench in the park thinking. Is it pointless? It's undeniable that Akiha is something different, and it's clear that there was a third child who's now dead. Akiha says I killed the third child, and I remember looking down at a bloody body in the courtyard. Akiha drinking Kohaku-san's blood. Akiha saying the Tohno family's inhuman. Senpai saying it would not be strange for the minds of siblings to merge while they sleep. So, there's no longer any doubt. Even if I don't want to accept it, it's true. At least, if I didn't see Akiha drinking Kohaku-san's blood. Hang on. When I saw Akiha and Kohaku-san, it was in my dream. I saw Akiha and Kohaku-san in a dream. That means, if I was merging with Akiha's mind, I wouldn't be able to see Akiha herself. Then, the person seeing that dream, it couldn't have been Akiha who was being watched. If Akiha is a vampire, she would never see that. Yeah, there's no way Akiha could be the killer. Saying that, I jump off the bench. Though I will be embarrassed later, I run around the park. Ha ha! Ha ha ha! I don't care how people think. I just run around happily laughing, because this means I can protect Akiha from now on. Just this once, I'm happy that my mind has merged with the vampires. If he hadn't seen Akiha, I would still believe my terrible mistake. No, hold on. Watching Akiha. The killer was watching Akiha inside the mansion, like watching its prey from a dark corner. As if he decided his next prey was Akiha. My back freezes, but this is no time to stand around. Akiha! Crying out, I run to the mansion with all my strength. Strange. Though it's still only 7, the lights of the mansion are out. I gasp for air. I catch my breath from running, then run to the mansion. The mansion is silent as a grave. It's terribly hot. For an autumn night, it's terribly hot. I keep panting heavily. My breathing is irregular, but not just because I've been running. It's a terrible, tropical night. Sweat pours off me, dripping down my cheeks. I wipe it away. In this boiling night, I grasp the door of the mansion. I feel dizzy. A chill runs through my bones, as if my brain was being wrung out. This isn't my normal dizziness. My consciousness isn't blurred. Instead, it's sharpened, like a honed blade. I grit my teeth. Without reason, hatred boils up. The dizziness does not fade, and despite a violent headache, my body fills with strength. Akiha! There's no response to my cry. The mansion is completely without power. There's no sign of anyone. Hisui! Kohaku-san! Is there anyone there? There's no reply. The only thing here is the heat and silence piercing into my skin like needles. Akiha. Just an awful feeling. I can't think of anything else. Akiha. Akiha's room is, I think it was the second floor of the West Wing, right? Wasn't it? It's mind-blowing that even think that I remember that. No cheating? Shit. I was gonna cheat, but then you said no cheating. Okay. Okay. Wait, no. No. Shiki's room is in the West Wing. I remember because I got that confused. Because, okay, so the servants live on the first floor. So we can rule those two out. I think it's the East Wing. Fuck, but what if it was the West Wing? Because I remember I got the two confused when I was reading the sentence. Because there's a scene way earlier where Shiki goes to Akiha's room, then describes the process of going back to his room and mentions which wings they're on. And I think I said West Wing because I was thinking of the show West Wing. But I think he was going to the West Wing from the East Wing. I think. Man. I fucking hate Aaron Sorkin. I think it's East Wing. The very back of the East Wing is on the second floor. That's where Akiha's room is. I run up the stairs. The heated air and sense of foreboding seem to stretch over the dark of night like glass. Breathing heavily, I reach the top of the stairs and walk down the hallway. My back hurts. This terrible feeling in the air gets heavier as I draw near Akiha's room. I reach Akiha's room. The dizziness is getting unbearably stronger. I put my hand in my pocket. I'm lucky, as my knife is still there. He brought his knife to school? Jesus. I ignore my dizziness, and with the knife in my other hand, I open the door. Yeah, we guessed right. Let's go. Darkness. The moonlight coming from the window barely sheds enough light to see. In the blue darkness, I see Akiha on the ground. Akiha! I run to her and hold her up. Akiha does not move, so she might be unconscious, but I can tell she's alive as her small chest rises and falls with her breathing. But there's something more strange. Akiha's black hair. It's turned into the bloody shade of red. Akiha... You're really Akiha, right? The hair looks red in the darkness, but it's definitely Akiha. Akiha! Hey, come on! What happened? I hear a noise. I turn back. The direction the direction the sound came from. There's someone standing by the moonlit window. It seems to be someone wrapped in bandages. Who are you? The man does not answer. A cold chill runs through my spine. I feel death in my nerves. The person is just there, broken. Abnormal eyes that seem out of this world. But there's some intelligence. It seems the bandaged person has both intelligence and madness. My heart beats loudly. It beats quicker. All the while, my mind freezes, like I was dead. This feeling. I know this feeling of death, I'm sure. What's in this room right now is the world of murder I saw in my dreams. I asked you who you are. I hold my knife and stare at the person. The bandaged man appears to be smiling. I feel sad, Shiki. It's gotta be Roa, right? You don't even remember the person you've killed. He steps toward me. I back up, holding Akiha in one arm. Can't you tell, Shiki? I'm the guy you killed. What are you saying? Just listening to his voice gets on my nerves. I hate him. The hatred I was feeling since I entered the mansion is concentrated on him. This hatred. It's my instinctual drive to remove him, a homicidal impulse. My heart beats. From somewhere inside me, my body screams. It screams that this person must be killed. I see. You're the vampire! Holding Akiha with one arm, I hold out my knife with the other. The man laughs as if it was funny.
Don't even try. I am you. There's no one who can truly kill himself.
What?
I'm taking Akiha back. She was mine to start with.
Another step. The man comes closer.
Stop! I won't stop. I came to get everything back from you. Name, position, power, everything was mine.
The man opens his arms and talks proudly. What are you saying? What? Who? What are you?
You still don't remember. What a guy. We were such good friends 8 years ago.
What? 8 years ago? Such good friends?
Well, I guess you forgot it. It's that old man. I bet he put a strong spell on you to make you forget. And I bet you yourself wanted to forget the ugly past, Shiki.
He laughs. My vision shakes. 8 years ago. 8 years ago. 8 years ago. That's the time I was sent to the hospital from the accident. That's the time the three of us played together in the mansion. That's the time the child was there. And all the blood.
But that's all ending now. It was painful for you, right, Shiki? Hold on, I'll save you.
The man slowly takes off the bandage around his head. His face. You! Who the fuck is this?
It's been a while, Tohno Shiki. No, that's not your real name.
The face that came out from the bandage. It was not the face of the bloody child, but Tohno Shiki. Yes. Why did I forget? He was with Akiha back then. The third kid's name was clearly that. Certainly that.
Yes, it's really been a long time, Nanaya Shiki. You finally remembered that you were an imposter.
The man's, Shiki's lips turn up into a smile and he laughs deeply. Ugh! Headache. I have a headache. The lid opens, which was sealed shut. By whom? I can't look at it. At what? The box of forgotten memories. He commanded me to forget everything. Tohno Makihisa, Nanaya Shiki, was adopted by the man who made him alone. Probably because it was amusing to him that I had the same name as his son. It's something that happened 10 years ago. I was adopted, was brought into an unknown mansion. My family were always people I didn't know. My life in the detached building. The boy and the girl I met. The big garden we played around in. A hot summer day. Akiha getting attacked by a shadow. I could only think about helping her, and the moment I used myself as a shield, I was commanded to forget everything. By Tohno Makihisa. By my own father. He commanded me to live as Tohno Shiki, and not Nanaya Shiki. And dizziness. Sickness. Mixed memories run through my head. Thump. I can't control my body. I throw Akiha on the ground and embrace my knife as I pant for air.
Is it shocking? I bet it is. It should have been a big shock to, It should have been a big shock to know that you were an imposter, since you thought you were Tohno Shiki this whole time.
Shiki laughs. But that's nothing compared to me. You know, Shiki, I was killed by the person I thought was my best friend, and even had the name Tohno Shiki taken away from me. You even took Akiha, my Akiha. Can you understand how I felt? Killed. You... That's right. I killed you first. But the end result was, you killed me. Can't you recall that yet? 8 years ago on that day, I lost my blood and killed you. Look at that scar on your chest. I took this arm and pierced right through you. Scar on my chest. That was in the accident. I was told I got it from an accident. Yes, the old man almost killed me afterwards, though. The Tohno blood finally awakened inside me, but I was imprisoned underground and lived in the dark for 8 years. That damn old man. He said he'd let me out if I returned to being a human. He thought it would be inconvenient for Tohno Shiki to be gone, so he made you into Tohno Shiki. So, the adopted kid that was here 10 years ago was me. Do you get it, Shiki? I was killed by you. I'm alive right now, but you're Tohno Shiki. I've no place to go back to. My name is Tohno Shiki. My position, my dear sister, and even my existence was taken away by you. I, as Tohno Shiki, was killed by you, Tohno Shiki. A step. He starts to walk toward me with glaring eyes. Here. That's the end of the story. Shiki, you should have died 8 years ago. You've had enough, right? Let's go back to the way things were 8 years ago. The way things were? Yes. I returned to being Tohno Shiki, and you return to the dead person you were. A big impact. I was blown out into the hallway with one strike from Shiki. Ah! My back strikes the wall. I can't breathe. My head. I still can't think straight. I can sense him coming. Shiki jumps out from Akiha's room. Damn! I can hear Shiki. His weapon also happens to be a knife, and my knife joins his in a deadly competition. I gasp for air. I'm out of breath. I still feel sick, but I don't have time to think. Honestly, I think it's Miller time. I should not consider my own safety. The only sure thing is that this guy is the reason for everything going on. The one sucking the blood out of all the people in town. The one that hurt Senpai and tried to steal her Nintendo Switch. And Yumizuka. The one who turned Yumizuka into a vampire and made her suffer like that. Everything. Everything is this enemy's fault. Then I grit my teeth and hold on to my hatred, trying to cool myself down. I take off my glasses. Let's get started. Fortunately, this is my 3rd time fighting in a life-or-death situation. By now, I know more than enough about how exactly I should be moving. Sweat drips down from the ground, to the ground. His knife swings at every part of my body, but I have fortunately not received any fatal wounds. I'm breathing hard because I moved my body past its limits. I don't understand! The enemy is in front of me, breathes in annoyance. Why? Why can't I kill just an ordinary human being? Why is your killing ability, fuck me. Why is your killing ability so high, Shiki? There's anger in his eyes. He's probably irritated from all this unexpected resistance by something that should be easy prey. My heavy breathing fills the air. My chest hurts. Even though I've seen his killings already in my dreams, our abilities are naturally different. It's already hard enough to block his attacks. It's almost impossible to attack his lines. But if I didn't care to avoid mutual death, I could easily kill him. Alright. Enough playing around. I tried to finish you off with the same weapon you had, but I shouldn't have used something I'm not used to using. The enemy throws down his knife. Slash! The sharp, animal-like nails shine in the night. So it's this after all. It's really dull to use the same thing as 8 years ago. The enemy smiles and frees his stance. Thump. My heart beats. My body knows I won't be able to keep up with him once he gets serious. I probably won't be able to see him attacking me. The first thing I'll realize is that my body has a hole in it. Thump. The presence of death increases. The sense of impending death is upon me. But I've no fear. The cracking inside my body grows proportionately with the sense of crisis. Panting. Burning pain. Just like a bow pulled to the limit. A homicidal impulse that I cannot control. Most likely, it'll be released in a moment and kill Shiki for sure. So long, Shiki! Akiha's mine! This time, you go to hell! The enemy's body disappears. The strained bow is released, but before that, someone comes in between me and Shiki. It was Akiha, with her flowing red hair. Akiha stands in front of Shiki, as if to protect me. Akiha, what are you doing? Akiha does not answer. Her back, with Akiha's red hair in front of me. I start feeling excited. Move, Akiha! I am your real brother! You do not have to worry about this imposter. Akiha does not answer. Her back, with Akiha's red hair in front of me. I start feeling excited. Akiha, don't make me sad. You're the only important person for me. No, I won't move. Akiha shakes her head, and she clearly rejects Shiki. Akiha! Move back. If you say you're going to kill Nissan, I'll kill you first. The role of the head of the Tohno family is to eliminate people like you. What? What are you saying, Akiha? You were waiting for me for so long. I was always watching. I came back because you were waiting for your brother. I killed that old man and became free just for you. But why are you protecting that imposter? Indeed, I was waiting for Nissan. But that is not you. You lost against the Tohno blood and became just a killer. You should have died on that day 8 years ago. Akiha, you're telling your own brother to die? No, that's not right. I'm your only brother. Listen to me. That guy's just a... Silence! I will not allow any more insults against Nissan. I'm not going to let you kill Nissan again. Akiha... Shiki staggers. Stop! He's just an imposter! Don't betray me for such a guy, Akiha! Just a second. Akiha doesn't answer. She just confronts Shiki with fierce aggression. Akiha, you're going to betray me too, Akiha? Shiki takes a step. Shiki looks at me, and Akiha with bloodshot eyes. This is the last warning. Move, Akiha. Can't you follow your brother's orders? I will not move. You are not my Nissan. Shiki screams as he jumps. Not toward Akiha, but toward me. But I was expecting that already. I raise my knife and face my enemy. But Shiki's nails are faster. The result will be mutual death. If that's the case, I can surely cut his line and slice him into pieces. Shiki's nails never reach. Shiki's soulless voice gasps. Shiki's nails slashed across Akiha's back. It's not that Shiki aimed for her. It's just that Akiha crashed into me. But I felt nothing. My mind is frozen. Without feeling anything, my homicidal impulse drives me. Akiha's body falls to the ground. In that instant, the instant Shiki stops moving, I slash through his line. Smell of blood. It angers me that scent is the only thing I do sense. The rest of my senses are paralyzed with exhaustion after all my extreme movement. Right now, I feel nothing. There's Akiha, covered with blood in front of me, and Shiki's dead body is there right beside her. I feel nothing and simply stand here. The lights come on. It hurts my eyes as it returns me to my senses. I look around. On the floor in front of me is a path of red blood. Akiha's body is not there, nor is Shiki's. What? The knife is still in my hands. I'm sure that it wasn't a dream. As proof, the floor is covered with blood. Akiha, you protected me. I remember, and at the same time I feel sick. I didn't want her to do that. All I wanted to do was protect Akiha. Why did it turn out this way? Shiki-sama! Someone calls from behind. I've turned on the emergency power. Oh, okay. Akiha-sama's wounds were pretty shallow, so please do not worry. Hisui, where were you? I previously stated this. When Nason and I arrived to help, you and Akiha-sama were on the ground. We tried to talk to you several times, but you were in no condition to talk. So, I just stood there while Akiha was lying injured on the ground. Akiha-sama needed treatment immediately, so Nason and I treated Akiha-sama, then put the power back on. Should we have waited for your orders? No. You guys did the right thing. I was just standing here, right? Yes. It's been about an hour since we came, but you've only been standing there. I see. Not doing anything while Akiha was on the ground wounded is the worst thing I could have done. Not only did I not protect her, but you could say I was actually hurting her. Hisui, is Akiha alright? Yes. It's not that deep of a wound, but since it's not a wound that will heal anytime soon, we have her resting in her room now. Shiki-sama, what happened? When we regained consciousness, all the lights in the mansion were turned off, and I had apparently been unconscious in Nason's room. It seems Nason and I were drugged. When we came to the lobby, you and Akiha-sama were there. Nason said that cut on Akiha was from a big animal, but that is... What? There's something wrong. This doesn't add up.
Hisui, Shiki was not there? Shiki-sama? Were you not standing in front of Akiha-sama?
No, not me, but... I stopped myself. Hisui doesn't know about Shiki. She doesn't know why Akiha was hurt, nor does she know I was almost killed. Hisui, was there only me and Akiha in the lobby? She nods. That guy. He's still alive. I did cut him from his shoulders along his line, but it didn't kill him? Or a vampire's harder to kill than humans? Either way, he's alive right now, and has run away. No, I don't care about that right now. But Akiha...
Please wait, Shiki-sama. Are you going to Akiha-sama's bedroom?
Of course. I have to apologize to Akiha and talk to her. Nesan
Nesan is currently treating her wounds. I do not think Akiha-sama would be pleased to see you right now.
That might be true, but...
Please go back to your room, Shiki-sama. When we finish treating her, and Akiha-sama asks for you, I will come and get you.
With that, Hisui starts to walk up the stairs. She probably went up to Akiha's bedroom to help Kohaku-san. Being a guy, I can't help them. All I can do now is wait for Hisui in my room. I go back to my room and try to calm down. I have to calm down and think about many things. About Akiha. About myself. About that guy, Shiki. Shiki told me that I was adopted and treated as Tohno-shiki in his place. I've no intention of denying it. Rather, it's very convincing. Why I didn't recognize this mansion that well. Why my room didn't feel like the room I knew. The fact that I was living with the Arimas, and why no one came to see me while I was in the hospital 8 years ago. When I was adopted 10 years ago. And the 2 years until I got into the accident. Me, Akiha, and Shiki were raised as brothers and sister. Shiki sounded as if he knew I was adopted all along. But what about Akiha? You are not my Nisan. Akiha said that to Shiki, and injured herself while protecting me. Akiha might not know that I was adopted. That's why she protected me. You can't do that unless it's your real brother. So, Akiha must believe I'm her true brother.
Shiki-san, can I come in?
Kohaku-san! Is Akiha alright right now?
Yes. We're done treating her wounds. She won't be able to walk at all for a few weeks, but there's no danger to her life.
I see. Thank goodness. I let out a sigh of relief. If the wound she received from protecting me was worse, I don't know how I could ever talk to Akiha again.
Shiki-san, Hisui-chan told me you wanted to talk to Akiha-sama?
Yeah. I prefer not to if Akiha's not feeling well. But I'd really like to talk to her if I can.
If that's the case, please go ahead. But please do not have a complicated conversation. Akiha-sama is pushing herself, and I don't want her to be mentally tired.
I know. I just want to see Akiha and thank her.
Alright, that should be fine. Then I'll rest for a bit. Can you take care of Akiha-sama for a while?
Kohaku-san walks out of the room, wobbling. She must be tired from taking care of Akiha. Alright. I have to go check on Akiha. I knock on the door. Akiha, it's me. Can I come in? After a moment of silence.
Yes. Please come in, Nisan.
I hear her weak whisper. I go into Akiha's bedroom. As she was sleeping on the bed until now, she raises herself slowly. Crap. Seeing her like this causes my mind to empty. There's already tension enough coming into Akiha's bedroom, and that she's acting so weak. And she's acting so weak that I regret it. We end up just staring at each other in silence. All of a sudden,
Aren't you going to sit down, Nissan?
oh, yeah. I should sit down, huh? I take a seat in the chair. Now I'm at the same height as Akiha. My mind goes even more blank.
You never ask about anything, do you, Nissan? Even though I'm like this, I was ready for anything.
Akiha says in a soft voice. You're right. There's a lot of things I want to ask about. But I'll ask about all that after you get better. Right now, I'm here to see how you're doing.
I see. But there's something I want to ask you, Nissan. I get mad easily when I don't understand something, so I can't sleep peacefully unless I hear it from you.
Go ahead. You're hurt right now. I'll answer anything.
I'm sorry. I'm hiding a lot of things from you, but I don't want you to hide anything from me. I'm really selfish, aren't I?
Don't worry. I like that part of you too. I'll let it go. So what do you want to ask about Akiha? Akiha's probably making me match her pace. Surprising even myself. I speak kindly to her.
Then I'll ask. Nissan, you used the word vampire. Is that something Seal taught you? Or is it something you concluded yourself?
I think it's both. I don't know why, but I've been having this dream where I kill people and suck their blood. So I thought I was the killer. However, Seal Senpai proved me wrong.
I see. You were in tune with Shiki's mind. That's why you asked me at school.
What? Akiha? You can tell that I'm in tune with his mind?
No. I'm just saying that the possibility existed. Nissan, you might not remember, but that Shiki is our...
Yeah. You want to say he's our brother, right? I forgot about it until just now. But I remember faintly. Whenever we played in the garden, you always followed us. Us means that there's more than one, right? Yes. When I recall my childhood, there's that contradiction. I didn't recognize it, probably because the old man hypnotized me. Akiha does not say anything. It really seems like she doesn't know I'm adopted. In that case, I do not want to say it right now and mentally attack her. If I can lie to her right now, I should.
Nissan, you were almost killed by Shiki 8 years ago. Shiki did not have that much Tohno blood in him, but it suddenly awakened. The blood of Tohno is a blood from ancient times, and it makes you give priority to your instincts rather than your reason. Shiki had that blood throughout him and attacked you, as you happened to be there.
I heard that from Shiki, that the scar on my chest is not from an accident, but from Shiki.
Everyone in the Tohno family has different abilities. There's some people who eat other people like Shiki, and there's people whose abnormality is only in their brain like Father. Shiki attacked you and took away your blood and life. Shiki was punished by Father, but he survived by taking your life.
I don't get it. What do you mean by him taking away my life?
I should say your soul in this case. I don't know how it works since I'm not Shiki, but Shiki lived by feeding off of your life. I think you and Shiki are like different people running off of one heart. That's why you tune into each other easily. If that's the reasoning, I think you can tune into me too. But I think it's because you two were really good friends.
Stop it. With that guy? With a guy that hurts you? Don't make me friends with him. Akiha looks at me with a painful expression. Her thin body, her white skin, her flowing black hair is tinged slightly red and looks weak. Oh yeah, Akiha. What happened to your hair? It was red back then, and now it's back to black. What's going on?
I told you. This is due to the Tohno blood. My body does not change like Shiki, but when my blood gets excited, my hair turns back to its original color. Now that I'm calm, it's turned to being black.
That's good. I think you look better with black hair.
I think it'll be bad if your hair stayed red.
I don't want her to be stained with something like the Tohno blood.
Yes, I also dislike the color red. I know it's just the color of my hair, but it means my body's state has changed. I don't want to be like Shiki.
Akiha falls back in bed. Akiha! I support her body. She's shaking. Her breathing is difficult, as if her heart was gone. She clenches her teeth in pain. She sweats as if trying to expel the pain from her body. Akiha! What's wrong? Do your wounds hurt?
Nisa...
Akiha grips the bedsheets. Hold on. I'll get Gohaku-san.
No. No one can help me anyways.
Akiha grabs onto my arm, still breathing hard. Her slender fingers. Her soft grip grips my hand. Strongly. All right. I'll stay right here, Akiha. I can hear her. Her voice is choppy. Akiha rages around in bed, and I realize her hair is red again. Akiha, your hair!
It's all right. This won't last long.
Akiha is in serious pain. Time passes by, and all I can do is hold on to her hands. After an indeterminable amount of time, it finally ends. I'm sure it was only a few minutes, but it felt like hours. She breathes normally now. Her hair's still red, but it looks fainter than before.
I'm sorry I made you watch such unpleasant things.
Akiha sits up. I can easily tell she's pushing herself. You don't have to sit up. It still hurts, right? Don't try to push yourself.
No, I'm all right. My back has nothing to do with this. This spasm is like an everyday thing.
Her back has nothing to do with this. What do you mean everyday thing? Is this normal for you? She doesn't answer. That means yes. I can't believe it. She suffers through this kind of pain all the time. Why? That's not right. That's not normal. Akiha still doesn't answer. She just nods silently.
Like you say, I'm not normal. This spasm is not like your anemia. This is a pain all people of the Tohno blood go through. When you cannot stand this pain, you become like Shiki.
What?
I told you. The people of the Tohno line are abnormal. The Tohno blood in me is strong. As I grew up, it became worse and worse each day. Now it's getting to a point where I can't help it. I'm like this every night.
Akiha just talks, without holding any grudge against her blood. I understand what Akiha's saying, but at the same time, I don't want to accept it. What do you mean? I don't get what you're saying.
Jeez. Nissan, you really are stupid.
Akiha laughs. She smiles, looking a bit troubled.
My body uses more heat than the average person, so I can't get enough energy using normal methods, and I end up having to get heat directly from someone. Like you say, I act like a vampire, trying to contain myself. But the more I rely on it, the more abnormal I am. I'm acting more like a Tohno. But without it, I have no way to control myself. Akiha, do you understand? I have to take away heat from something alive. I'm an incomplete creature. That's Tohno Akiha for you, Nissan. I cannot say anything, but I still manage to find something to say. To not say anything right now only hurts Akiha even more. That's why you were sucking Kohaku-san's blood. You knew, Nissan, that I got blood from Kohaku. Yeah. Sorry for not telling you. Akiha blushes and looks down. It's a last resort. It doesn't have to be blood that I take in. It can be body heat, or mental heat, anything that gives me power. Blood just happens to be the most efficient method. So, you're different from Shiki. You're not a real vampire like him. Yes. I'm not like Shiki, as I can't make people like me. I can only take from other people. Akiha looks away from me. But that's good for me, because it's just a matter of difference in the kind of food you take in. I feel relieved. You kept on telling me you're abnormal, but you're normal. Unlike Shiki, you're a normal human being. That spasm you had, it won't happen if you get some blood, right? Then, it's true that it would not occur if I take in some blood, but I can't stand getting blood just because I want to. If I get used to that, I'll be just like Shiki. No matter how painful it is. No matter how painful it is, if it's just physical pain, I can stand it. The Tohno blood awakens more at night, but it dies down in the morning. So, this is just normal for me. You don't have to look at me that way. You're stupid. If you were in that much pain, I'll be glad to give you as much blood as you want. I'm being honest. If I knew Akiha was in this much pain every night, I would have given her blood every time. No, I don't want to drink anyone's blood. I really do not want to drink Kohaku's blood either. Why? If your spasms go away, then it should be fine. That's true, but... Akiha grows quiet and continues with an embarrassed tone. But I do not want to be called a vampire by you. I want to stay as a human being, just like you. I really hate how stupid I am. I never thought about how Akiha felt. About how ominous she feels about the Tohno blood. About how much she thinks about me. Is there anything I can do for you, Akiha? Let's see. Please go rest in your room. You must be tired too. Idiot. That's all I can say in response. Don't worry. Just lay down. I'll stay here until you go to sleep. All right. If you say so. I will, Nissan. She says this as she lies back down. After time passes quietly by, she falls into a gentle slumber. Akiha's face looks very peaceful. I stay and continue to watch her. Shiki-san, are you awake? I can hear Kohaku-san's voice. I look at the clock to find out it's 3 o'clock already. I'm awake. Are you here to look after Akiha, Kohaku-san? Yes. I wanted to take her temperature. I'm sorry, Shiki-san, but... Oh, sorry. I'll leave right away. I get up from the chair. As I leave the room, I look at Akiha one more time. Thank you. And sorry, Akiha. I whisper this softly as I leave her room. I let Kohaku-san take care of Akiha, and I walk down the hallway. Things should be fine for now, but I still feel uncomfortable. I don't care that Shiki is still alive.
There's only one thing that worries me. I was watching Akiha's face while she was sleeping, but her hair did not turn back to its original black, no matter how long I waited. Okay. Alright, we're gonna stop here. I actually ran a little longer than I wanted to, but that's okay. We didn't run for too long anyway. Okay. Thoughts so far? So, I believe this is actually the first time we've actually heard Shiki's real name, Shiki Nanaya. Now, obviously, anybody who's played Melty Blood is gonna know, because like that's a character in the before Type Lumina, the latest Actress Again Current what is it called? Actress Again Current Code has Nanaya as a playable character, so that's kind of spoilery. So like we knew that that was his name, but now we know his true name. So that's interesting. I'm guessing for whatever reason in this route, possibly because Arcueid was never killed. I guess Roa never awoke within Shiki Tohno, so he's just Shiki. So because of that, I decided to do his voice a little bit different. And also just to like, because that voice is hard. Doing Roa's hard. But like that was cool, getting to see a new character, sort of. And Akiha going Super Saiyan 4. Again, something that was minorly spoiled for me because of, again, Melty Blood. But yeah, a lot of interesting stuff. I liked the little JoJo pose that she did in Chapter 10. That was kind of... Or was it this chapter, I guess? I guess it was this chapter. So yeah, a lot of interesting stuff happened. And I'm curious to see how it'll end. And I think we might actually finish the Akiha route tomorrow. So, look forward to that. If you're watching right now, thank you for visiting. Thank you for chatting. Goo Visuals and... Who was the other one? Jay Zor, thank you for coming to chat. I always appreciate people coming in and watching me, helping me with choices, or, you know, reacting to whatever. I always appreciate that. If you're watching the VOD, thank you so much for making it this far. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I always appreciate comments. Be sure to follow me on Twitch. Twitch.tv/BerserkChip. That's BerserkChip with 2 P's because I forgot the password to my previous account. Be sure to follow me on Twitter where I give updates on my schedule. And also post highlights from the streams. At the end of the year, I'll be posting a bunch of highlights of just like BerserkChip 2020 through 2021 of just gameplay footage, and like funny moments, like highlights from the visual novel streams that I've done this year. And into next year, we will be doing more visual novels like this. We'll be doing Fate Stay Night. We'll be doing Umineko. We'll be doing Higurashi, probably. We'll be doing X-Blaze. We'll be doing Baldur's Sky. We'll probably do Kagetsu Toya at some point. We're doing it up. This shit is so much fun. And I feel like this style of reading a visual novel, instead of just like blindly let's reading it, actually performing it, I feel like there's not that many people who do it like that. So I'm hoping I can gain more of an audience the more I do this. And either way, I'd like to be able to be like, hey, I read Tsukihime. I read Fate Stay Night. I'd like to be that guy. So, again, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.